What is the most bizarre reason a customer got angry with you? Lady walked into my office, asking for one of my colleagues. I explained to her that he actually works out of a different office, which is listed in his email signature and our website. She was upset, as she had documents to drop off to him. I explained to her that his office is only 3 minutes down the street if she wanted to make the drive, or I could scan her documents and email them to him. She refused. So I said, well, you can leave them here with me and I can ask the guy to come pick them up tomorrow. She again said no, because she didn't trust me. I explained that I am the director of operations for the company, basically my colleague's boss. She then yells that she doesn't know me and this is extremely sensitive information and storms out. 1 minute later, she comes in and asks for my business card to prove I am who I say I am. Lol. I give her one, and she leaves her stuff with me and storms off again. My first job was in the produce department of a local grocery store. One morning, a middle-aged woman came in and asked me if we have any organic pears in the back room because the ones up front didn't look great. I explained to her we would be getting our shipment in the following morning and she could come back then to pick some organic ones up, or we have regular pears available in the next row. She did not like this. Aside from getting yelled at, she requested to speak with my manager who also had to get an earful of complaints. This isn't anything super out of the ordinary and I was kind of used to the occasional upset customer. What infuriated me though is as she is about to walk away, she turns and says, "I'll be back tomorrow to get the pears. I don't know what my bird is going to eat today though. He has to eat organic." I was working at a coffee and wine bar when I had a man scream at me because he ordered the regular and I didn't know what he wanted. It was my first time meeting him, which, catastrophically, aligned with the first time I was left to take care of the register alone. I couldn't get away from the yelling, "Where the hell do you think you're going?" in order to ask the people in the back what he wanted. His regular got written out, laminated, and pinned to the cash register after that. He kept screaming, "Do you know who I am?" over and over, which, no sir, I do not know who you are. This is the first time we met. Also it turns out he was no one. I worked at a Burger King in high school. A guy comes in one day complaining he put in money to get a newspaper in the machine outside, and it wasn't this Sunday's paper. He wanted a refund. I told him we didn't own that machine, and we weren't able to give him his money back. I also mentioned to him it was actually Saturday, not Sunday. He flew into a rage, threw last week's Sunday edition of the paper all around the restaurant and behind the counter. My manager comes out and threatens to call the cops. Dude leaves screaming about how we ripped him off. Sometimes you can't fix stupid. Apparently when she said she wanted a hot fudge sundae she meant strawberry sundae. Mayo, the service industry is the worst. I had a couple of 30-somethings get mad at me because I called them guys. A woman and her high school daughter walk up to me while I'm working in Bath and Body Works. Here's how the convo goes. "Mom, we don't know what they are called, but you know those things you can wear around your neck and you clip keys or badges to them? Do you sell those here?" Me, "Oh, do you mean lanyards?" "Mom, what did you call me?" Me, "Nothing. You said you didn't know what those things are called. They are called lanyards. Unfortunately we do not sell them here. Maybe check Hot Topic." "Mom, whatever. Thanks for wasting my time." As they turned to leave, the daughter turned behind to her mom's back and mouthed, "I'm sorry" to me. Poor girl, that mom was nuts. I used to work deli for a New England grocery chain, working in Vermont. Working in one of the biggest stores meant that we would often be loaned out during ski season to small stores with big holiday booms. It was very busy for them, about normal for my store. I was slicing cheese for a woman, who got real angry that I hadn't stacked her cheese perfectly straight, which blew my mind. Who expects deli sliced cheese to be stacked perfectly? The story has a happy ending though. Her exact indignant words were, "Where I'm from in New York they stack the cheese perfectly straight." And the guy behind her, a regular the local employees had greeted by name, piped up and said, "Well then maybe you should go back to New York." Best moment I've ever had at work. Apparently I didn't greet her at the drive-thru with enough enthusiasm, but the real gag is it wasn't even me on the speaker and when I corrected her she got even madder. Now, imagine being her child. Babies raising babies. I used to deliver pizza. I had someone get irate and refuse the delivery because they'd ordered it to be delivered at 7 PM and I got there at 6:55. I hope you just stood there for 5 minutes refusing to hand it over till 7 exactly. They wanted a new pizza because they said the one I brought would be cold by 7 when they wanted to eat. I told them we'd have to bake a new pizza then and it'd be late. They opted for late. I ran a few more deliveries with their pizza in my backseat and went back around 7:30 with the exact same pizza but told them it was a new one. They opened it to make sure it was hot and were happy with it. Then they called to complain about the experience. Then we had to update our order policy that if you specify a delivery time we can only guarantee a time range and not a specific minute. Worked at Walmart and this guy went through my line buying something for his tires. He accidentally got 2 different things. One was a lot more expensive than the other. He got pissed, looking at his receipt, and demanded to know why one cost more money. I looked at the products and noticed one had some gel inserted in the product. I told him this and he demanded to know why this made the product more expensive. I explained to him I knew nothing about cars and was just a cashier but he could go to customer service to exchange the more expensive products for the cheaper one. He then refused to leave my line until I lowered the price of the more expensive product. By the way, I was working the express checkout line on Friday at 5:30 and a huge line was forming behind this man-child. My manager finally got him to leave the line and go to customer service, though his son was in line behind him and apologized for his father's actions. We didn't have any Bibles that were large print, pocket-sized, and contained the full text of the Bible. Now, we had large print Bibles and we had pocket-sized Bibles, all containing the full text you'd expect. We even had a large print, pocket-sized Words of Jesus compendium. But this customer wanted a Bible that was all 3. All the words, printed larger, yet somehow smaller when it was all put together. I tried to tell her that this was impossible, but she wasn't having it. I also had a customer that wanted a Bible that was in English, but somehow not a translation. He kept saying the original. He wanted the original Bible. But he didn't want the New Testament Greek one we had. He wanted the original, but in English. Well, every translation in English thinks they're capturing something of the original. I said, they do all this scholarship. I don't care about scholarship. He interrupted me. I just want the original. I ended up leaving him in the King James Version section and said, let me know if there's anything else I can do. While walking away quickly enough to not hear anything back. All of this was at a regular Borders, by the way, not a Bible store. I applied another discount to the total instead of the promoted discounts to save her more money. Had to get into an argument with her just to explain I'm trying to save her more money. She wasn't having it. Pay more money, I don't care anymore. Reminds me of when I was at Subway once, and the lady in front of me ordered 2 6-inch meatball subs and at the end the guy was like, let me ring that up as a single 12-inch to save you some money and the lady lost it. Guy was like right, okay, 2 6-inch meatball subs it is then. You're right. A customer came in to buy hand sanitizer. She brought her bottle to the register to purchase it, saw there was some at the register, then proceeded to share her vast knowledge of bad words with great vigor with me, swearing she would never shop with us again. What? Clearly you should have known what she was there for, stopped her at the door, and let her know it can be found at the register. I mean, how lazy are you? My first real job was at a Culver's, and one of the regulars would always order a mushroom and Swiss. Hold the mushroom, hold the Swiss. When I finally had a chance to take the guy's order, I straight told him that we make the burger exactly the same as the standard hamburger, butter burger, if you're familiar with the chain. Dude flipped his lid. Started raving about how he used to own his own Culver's in another city and that if they were just using regular burgers for the mushroom and Swiss, that he'd take it right up the chain and get us all fired. Edit. Lot of replies here, and I feel like I need to add that this was over 20 years ago. Maybe they did things differently than they do now. But there was no difference in how the M&S was made compared to a regular butter burger back then. I used to work for Best Buy and Geek Squad but would cover PC occasionally. I had someone get mad at me because the quality of Intel chips has been steadily going down and they wanted me to give them a discount to buy an Intel laptop. They obviously knew it was a manufacturer's thing, as they even talked to me about how Intel is pushing their resources into quantum computing and not advancing current hardware the same way. Like, I can't just call someone at Intel and tell them to change their focus. I can't give you 20% off a new laptop because you dislike AMD and the price for performance doesn't really match anymore. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos and don't forget to like the video if you've enjoyed it.